welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, March 11th, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. President of the SVG Teachers Union is calling on the newspaper columnist Kenneth King to issue a public apology for statements he made in an article published in a local newspaper recently. Richard Robertson told SVG-TV News the statements made by King in the article, titled "Teachers, Remember we are facing hard economic times," are false and have caused damage to the union and all teachers. He says the union wants King to retract his statement and apologize soonest.
Says the seeking of $20 million in compensation for not getting salary increases since 2013 would be welcome by most teachers. Now, Mr. King is making the point that the teachers union requested $20 million for compensation to teachers. I want Mr. King to present the evidence of this request that the teachers union has made. And also, he made a point that teachers have been getting all the increases, or the most increases. I want him also to publicly present the evidences of this case. The teachers union has already sought legal advice on this matter. Now, if you read the article carefully, you would see that he's painting a picture that the teachers of this country, they are selfish and they are greedy. Those exact words are not written, but as an educator, when you read between the lines, when somebody tells you, you want all for yourself, and you want it every year, that boils down to greediness and selfishness. And the teachers union, as a noble profession, as a trade union in this country, has been very patient with the relevant authorities when it comes to salary increases. And so for Mr. Kenneth King to make these statements, it's really disappointing. So I want him to produce the evidence, because this matter is in the hands of our legal attorney.
A 5-year reconductible educational cooperation agreement will be signed here on Friday between the Ministry of Education and the Academy of Martinique. The agreement will be signed in partnership with the French Embassy for the OECS member states based in St. Lucia, represented by Dr. Jean-Luc Muir, Officer for Cooperation and Cultural Action, and the Alliance Française of St. Vincent, represented by its president Ali Mejaid. The agreement includes training for teachers of French, physical and virtual mobility for teachers and students, development and promotion of the teaching of French in SVG and of English in Martinique, as well as promotion of the official and internationally recognized DELF and DALF examinations from the French Ministry of Education offered by the Alliance Française. This country's Prime Minister has refuted claims that CARICOM is reconsidering the legal push for reparation. In responding to a question on the matter at yesterday's media conference, Prime Minister Dr. Gonzalez says he has not attended any CARICOM meeting at which the decision was taken to discontinue legal, diplomatic, or the political push for reparation. Dr. Gonzalez says at the last CARICOM meeting, the push for reparation was much more than reaffirmed.
Legal advice and opinion and the claim to be fine-tuned, and the idea of the budget for it was approved. But let me make it plain. We are proceeding with CARICOM, but so that nobody has any doubt as to where this government stands. If St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the only government which is doing it, and I know that we are not, we will proceed on the basis of what we have agreed upon in terms of seeking reparations for native genocide and slavery. But CARICOM is proceeding as a whole.
And just a few months after he launched his radio program, Ask the Prime Minister, PM Gonzalez announced that shortly he will be embarking on a prime ministerial campaign called Face to Face with the PM. Dr. Gonzalez says while he is still to finalize the details of the program to be introduced shortly, his mission will be to make visits to all the communities across St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Face to face with the comrade, face to face with Ralph. I'll put details on that in due course across all the communities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Of course, I'm always in touch with the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines, but I will do it in a more intensified way. And the formulation face-to-face is not mine. It's taken from the book of John, 2 John. I think you find it also in 3 John. John the writer, not only of John 1, 2, and 3, and of the Gospel of John, but also the book of Revelation. So it wouldn't be only writing with pen and ink and paper, but we'll be doing it face to face.
Close to 1 dozen young electricians will soon receive certification that will allow them to be recognized anywhere throughout the OECS as qualified electricians. This through the Adult and Continuing Education, a Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ program in electrical installation, which has been running for 7 months now at the Kingston Technical Institute. Zonal Coordinator at the Adult and Continuing Education, Leroy Rock, told SVG-TV News the program was designed to get persons here in the field of electrical installation better certified.
There are persons who are already in the trade, who are doing work in electrical, and at the end of this class, their hope that they can get the certificate is that they could travel to different Caribbean islands, and they will be able to prove that they will qualify in electrical installation. Actually, so we are running this class. This class has been going on for about 7 months.
7 months?
Yes, 7 months.
Okay.
It will be certified by the Caribbean Examination Council under the Caribbean Vocational Qualification Program, which deal with the skill set. Whether it be carpentry, electrical, or masonry, they will qualify by. It is a competency-based level. It is not an exam. You don't do exam.
And program facilitator Open Keel says he is extremely pleased with the participants' progress thus far.
Over the period that they have really been challenged and they have improved themselves in many ways, because we can see that to the end we can see they try to run with the torch, and all of them are successful, they are competent, and I can say I have a good cadre of people.
Meanwhile, 2 of the program's participants say they are happy with their decision to attend the training and are now looking forward to its completion, where they will officially be certified electricians.
Lynn?
What about you? What's your name?
Sharon James.
And of course, you are participants in this program. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling? Why you chose to get involved in something like this?
Well, the feeling is very nice. The experience is awesome also. And in my past life, I chose some wrong path and thing, and this is a way of, changing, doing something positive, and be a addition to society, be a good Samaritan and make a positive choice.
Yeah. Excellent. What about you?
Well, this program is a very wonderful program. I love doing electrical work.
After this program, after I receive my certificate, I plan to, go around, explore the countries and look for the best opportunity to do this work on a certified level.
All right. What about you?
I'm looking forward to this because this certificate is not only limited to St. Vincent, but to the OECS countries and wherever we go. Once we have that certificate, we can apply ourselves.
The first winner of SVG-TV's trivia quiz received his prize of a 4G tablet from Lime earlier today here at our studio. The winner is Valentine Brown of Cane Garden. The trivia quiz is part of the 35th anniversary celebrations of SVG-TV. Each week, a winner is selected from participating in the trivia, in which viewers of SVG-TV are asked a question during the evening news about the various entities of the parent company, SVG Broadcasting Corporation. Still to come, greater emphasis needs to be placed on human capital in the face of disaster, says NEMO Director. More stories on the local scene when SVG-TV News continues. Don't go away. Welcome back. Vincentians have been reminded that they all have a part to play in disaster risk reduction. This was pointed out during the opening ceremony of a two-day country conference being held here under the theme Promoting a Culture of Safety, Building Resilience to Disasters and Stimulating Sustainable Development. Head of the UWI Open Campus, Deborah Dalrymple, says anyone who witnesses the recent disasters here should have a better understanding of what it means to be prepared.
The cloak of invincibility in which we as Vincentians have wrapped ourselves over the years is becoming threadbare. I do believe that for generations we felt that hurricanes turn off before getting to St. Vincent, and that hurricanes and tsunamis and devastating earthquakes happen to other countries. And indeed, I do believe that in spite of the fact that La Soufrière erupted in 1979, we still look upon it as a rather benign giant in our backyard. We were forced to recognize the fact that our country has suffered several disasters in a relatively short period of time. Hurricane Thomas in 2010, the seemingly inexplicable floods in the Georgetown area in 2011, the Christmas floods of 2013, and as though to remind us of our vulnerability, the torrential rains and flood in September of 2014. We wish to offer a forum from which ministry officials, community workers, youth, the corporate sector, and other interested persons can broaden this discussion on disaster and risk reduction, and on climate change, and on how we have historically experienced the disaster, trauma counseling, and the list goes on.
Dalrymple says the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines stand to benefit from the two-day conference as it seeks to raise awareness of disaster risk in society with a special outreach to the youth, and which will contribute to a comprehensive approach necessary to build resilience and promote sustainable development. The Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Howie Prince, says investment in human capital and capacities should be of paramount importance for sustainable development in the face of disasters and climate change.
All the plans on the walls are as good as they are if the people who must carry them out are not aware, are not au fait with them, and do not know what they're supposed to do when that time comes. We must therefore, first of all, try to gain a better understanding of the plight of persons two groups of persons. One, the person who is the affected party when disasters strike. And secondly, the caregiver, or those persons who must provide those services. How do we understand better the needs of these two parties, and how do we ensure the delivery of services to those who need them most in times of disasters, but more so, and very importantly, an aspect of our system that we've to some extent neglected. How do we provide the best and better services to those people who must be out there day and night providing services to those people who are affected? In the area of guidance counseling, it is called who counsels the counselor. In the area of disaster risk management, I want to ask who is providing services to the service giver, and what is the quality of those services that must be provided.
Prince further reiterated that if development is to be sustainable in the face of disasters, greater emphasis must be placed on people's personal development.
Look at their social welfare to ensure, for example, that we stress, I'm not selling it, but we stress the need for adequate insurance coverage. Some people think insurance is a necessary evil. I am at the point where I have some insurance coverage, but I am understanding how woefully inadequate they are given certain situations that I'm now encountering in my personal life. And in retrospect, I say to myself, if only I've had the hindsight to invest a little bit more in these coverage, that would place me at a better position than I am today. I'm using my personal situation not to gain sympathy, but to bring to the fore that as a director of this National Emergency Organization,
it has dawned on me, and it should dawn on all of us, the need for better understanding the needs, particularly of our service providers and our caregivers.
Meanwhile, Director of the Seismic Research Center at the UWI St. Augustine campus, geologist Dr. Richard Robertson, says the responsibility to ensuring we become more resilient to hazards in the future rests not only with governments but each individual.
We must take responsibility for the actions that are necessary, for it is our problem. As persons occupying the space that we all share, we must, in all our many and disparate spheres of operation, ensure that our communities give greater attention to the negative impact of hazardous events that can and will happen. We must promote a culture of safety and build resilience to disasters. The Caribbean region is one of the most hazard-prone regions in the world. I don't need to tell you that. It is a region that is exposed to most of the natural hazards known to mankind. This is a region that is prone also to certain low-frequency, potentially high-impact events, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, that exhibit return periods that are longer than one generation. And that by itself is a problem. It is also a problem that it is much longer than the 5-year electoral cycle that dominates our development. So we forget.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines is among several Caribbean countries, including Montserrat, focusing at this time on emergency preparedness in the event of a volcanic eruption. Speaking to SVG-TV News earlier this week, volcanologist Susanna Jenkins says, though it is evident that volcanoes are extremely hazardous, they can be studied, monitored, and understood. She says plans can also be put in place to prevent excessive damage to property and to reduce the loss of lives and cost of reconstruction as well. Jenkins was one of the facilitators of a one-day workshop here yesterday looking at volcano emergency preparedness, hosted by NEMO in collaboration with the Strengthening Resilience in Volcanic Areas project of the University of East Anglia, UK, and the Seismic Research Centre, University of the West Indies. Jenkins further pointed out that one of the greatest hazards of a volcanic eruption is the discharge of volcanic ash.
We're here as part of a group to try and support emergency management and decision making in the event of a volcanic eruption of Soufriere St. Vincent. Specifically, we're worried about volcanic ash. Volcanic ash is the very small parts of rock and bits of glass and bits of the volcano that are exploded when there's an eruption. So generally they're about 2 millimeters or smaller, and they can be anything from a complete nuisance and that they need to be cleaned up frequently. They can be a threat to human health. With large enough thicknesses, they can damage roofs, they can collapse roofs, and we really wanted to come to St. Vincent to talk about what the impacts might be in the event of a future eruption in collaboration with the Seismic Research Centre, and to investigate how we might be able to support information needs for all of the groups that are gathered in the workshop.
She pointed out some of the ways in which volcanic ash can negatively affect life in St. Vincent.
We're talking about from the very fine ash, so a millimetre or so. There might be sort of a reduction in visibility, so when you have cars going over thin ash falls, then there's a kick-up of ash, and it's disruptive. You can't see as far as you could otherwise. And as you get thicknesses of ash, they can be more disruptive. So for St. Vincent, we might expect it's a problem for agriculture, especially, and also with a few millimetres of ash, there might be knocking out of electricity lines and a disruption to the power network and also the telecommunications network. SRC will provide valuable information on what they think might be a future eruption, and as a volcanologist myself, it's of course important to note that we never know exactly what might happen in an eruption, and so we can provide, or SRC can provide, information on what the likely range of eruptions might be and what the thicknesses of ashfall may be as well. And of course we're here to talk about what the impacts might be and how people might respond to that.
A number of activities will be held here in recognition of World Consumer Rights Day, which is celebrated on March 15th each year. World Consumer Rights Day recognizes the rights of consumers and is used as an opportunity to promote and advocate for the respect and protection of these rights, and for highlighting the market abuses and social injustices which undermine those rights. Around the world, the day is marked with local initiatives including campaigns, press conferences, workshops, and street events. The theme for 2015 is the right to healthy foods. The activities here include an address by the Minister with responsibility for consumer affairs and a sidewalk exhibition at the Singer Building on Friday, March 13th, 2015. There will be a panel discussion on Sunday, March 15th with representatives from the Bureau of Standards, Ministries of Health, Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Commerce, and the Coalition of Services. There will also be a school presentation highlighting the need for a healthy choice of foods.